Well, welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Joining today from the Department of Ag, Trade, Consumer Protection. We say DCAP, DACAP, DUCAP. Doesn't matter how you say it. They're still a great resource. And I've got Michael here who keeps putting up with me each and every month. I appreciate you. How you doing, sir?
Doing great, Jeremy. Happy to be here again.
And we're going to be talking about the lottery. No, you're not going to give tips out today on how to play the lottery. We're going to talk about a scam that has popped up, and it has to do with text message. The lottery sending text messages. Well, this just sounds great.
If only it were true. And if I had those winning lottery numbers, I would keep them as much as I like you, but sorry.
Yeah, you wouldn't be here today. Let's admit it first and foremost. We would see you. That background that you used to have with the cabin, that would have been where you would have been.
Right.
Well, this scam is interesting. We've seen a lot of variations of these text messages in various spaces, but this one specifically, yeesh.
Yeah, in this one, they try to add a note of legitimacy because they're actually using the names of a previous lottery winner here in Wisconsin. And so what's happening is they're using those names and under the guise that that couple wants to give away some of their winnings, in an act of philanthropy or generosity. And we see two different variations. They're sending out text messages, one of them saying that they're giving away $300,000 to 100 people and you were the lucky recipient. And so all you have to do is contact one of their agents. On another one, we're seeing that they're giving away $70,000 and they'll use a different agent's name. And in both messages, they're telling the recipient that they have to call or text or click on a link message to arrange for the proceeds. And of course, it's all false.
It's too good to be true, of course. I guess the question is how do you avoid these types of scams? But really, it goes back to the basics. This was an unwanted, unsolicited message, and red flag right there to start things off.
Yeah, absolutely. I would hope that, every once in a while you're going to get something that seems like it might be legitimate, something like this. If you get a random text out of the blue saying somebody wants to give you $100,000, there should be a lot of red flags going off. And the key that you want to make sure you don't do is you don't click on any of the links in the text message, because it's being sent in that medium. It's going to give you an opportunity for, when you click on the link, being infected with malware, viruses, potentially a ransomware. And this is all being done to try and either get information from your phone, from you, or access to your device.
Yeah, just it puts you down a path that you don't even know, and you don't want to know what could be happening there. So as far as avoiding the scams, you got some simple tips here. Know who you're sharing your information with.
Right. Something like this, you want to make sure that you're not just clicking on those links, making those phone calls, giving away information to a random unknown source. A lot of times you're going to get calls from who you might think is possibly legitimate. And so we also give some tips there on, if you don't believe that number, hang up, go online, find whatever that business or entity that called you and use one of the numbers that are published. And that gives you a little bit more confidence. You might be calling the right person. But even then, just being aware of what's being asked, why it's being asked, and what they're going to do with it.
And then if you did, so you may have asked some questions and may have thought it was legit. Turns out it wasn't. What would you say if you thought, well, I think I gave out some of my personal information here. What can I do?
First thing you want to do is check your credit reports, because 99.9% of the time this information is being sought so that they can use it for financial gain. And so check your credit report, see if there's been any activity, and then also immediately put on a freeze. Want to make sure you put on the 3 credit agencies. And what that freeze does is it prohibits any new lines of credit from being opened with your identity. And it's very easy to do, very quick, it's free. And it's a great security tool because then you control when new lines of credit can be opened. And it doesn't mean that it's going to prohibit you from getting a new credit card or a loan for a car or a mortgage, because all you need to do is call in, remove it, apply for whatever it is you want to apply, and then go back and put it back on. It's one of the greatest, easiest tools out there that we want people to be aware of.
And you're going to keep seeing variations of this, just like we've seen with the phones, the constant phone calls with this, the phishing email. That this will probably become more common, if not already common, with text message things. With, and again, with the key outliners, it has a name tied to it. It has a financial gain to it. So this is probably a rinse and repeat discussion that we'll have for years on end. So we've got to be prepared for this.
It absolutely is. And to illustrate that point, a few months back, you and I had a quick conversation about this very similar text message scam going around that was exploiting local fire departments and wanting to sell T-shirts and having these phone numbers. And it's the exact same model with the attempt to phish and get that information. All they do is they just put a different face on it.
Yeah, it's terrible at that. And I think the tips you've given us here today, Michael, are right in there with where we need to be and stay ahead of this. But if people do want to learn more about staying protected, reporting this, or more, where would you suggest they go?
Go to our website, DATCP. .wi.gov. We have a lot of information on the credit freezes that I talked about. In fact, last week we just issued a consumer alert on this very topic to help add a few more details and some other information about how the scam is working. And we also have a library of other things on other scams and types and how to avoid them and what to be aware of.
All right, Michael, thank you so much for your time as always. We'll check back in with you next month.
Thanks, Jeremy. Appreciate the time to help spread the message.
You betcha. Department of Trade Consumer Protection. That's where it starts. And please report these. The more we report them, the more we can get out ahead of this and share these types of information with you so you can spot these scams and others. And we can shut down those fraudsters. We'll take a quick break. More to come. You're watching Talking Fitchburg.